Joe Shaw, A2PE ENA. Joe, from the clip that you've just been watching, I'd like you to identify strengths and weaknesses of the performer for a major weakness, design an action plan, and then link your theory points to it. Okay, good luck.
I've chosen number 8 from the yellow and red team, and I've first identified some strengths that he has. His physique, first one we can look at. He's really tall and strong, however, he gets a low centre of gravity when he's moving the ball. That means he can move past players and win free kicks, get past them as quick as he can. And obviously as a striker which he's playing, we can see that he's trying to gain a scoring opportunity every time he's playing. So we look at that and you can see his low centre of gravity, takes it around defenders, allows him to change direction really quickly and move into the positions that are good for getting scoring opportunities. As I mentioned about the defender taking on defenders, he actually wins a number of free kicks with in a position around the box, and we can look at the codification that the FA introduced which was actually introduced in 1863 when they were founded as a result of the melting pot at universities. Obviously the FA has become one of the first NGBs, national governing bodies, and it universalised and standardised rules that everyone can play in the country. And then another strength that I've looked at is movement. He does really well in moving in a striking area. Obviously again, as a striker, it's really important to gain scoring opportunities, and the way he moves in behind defenders and confuses them with like the blind side run, which means that in a position, he runs in a position that a defender can't necessarily see, so that makes it really difficult for the defender to defend, and makes it more enhance the opportunity of him scoring and getting him behind the defence. We can look at the short sprints he makes every time he runs for the ball. Maybe an attacking midfielder has it, or a holding midfielder or a right winger. We look at the short sprints he's making to try and receive the ball in an advanced area. And the system he's using there is the ATP system, which is specialised as a striker. You might see, as a central midfielder, you might see more aerobic systems being used, but he's using both ATP and aerobic systems. We can look at the short 3 to 10 second sprints that he's making, which are used anaerobically. And this ATP system is anaerobic, takes place in the sarcoplasm of the muscle cells, and that's what the majority using, as well as the aerobic system, which is predominant in the game of football, as it's a long game which is important for ATP resynthesis, as he's rebuilding his ATP system as quick as he can so he can do more sprints, continue to sprint behind the defence, and which will rebuild really quickly in order for him to keep using that system. Another strength I've identified is shooting. He's got his eye on the ball, he strikes right through the ball. Obviously he stamps his non-striking foot right next to the ball, and that gives him optimum power for when he's shooting. His arms out for balance, and he really strikes through the ball as high as he possibly can. But he also strikes through the midline of the ball to gain as optimum accuracy as he can, obviously in order to get the best opportunities to score. We can look at a half volley that he scores in the game, where he lets the ball come over his head. He shows great awareness with the defender on his back, muscles him off the ball, and awareness where the keeper is, and he strikes right through the ball and lobs the keeper. And we can see that his eyes kept on the ball all the way through, didn't take his eye off the ball, and he strikes his foot right through the middle of the ball and gets optimum power and positioning. Can look at his ankle when he's striking the ball, and that's plantar flexion, which is the movement he's showing. The ankle is a hinge joint, and it connects the fibula and the tibia to the talus. And this movement that we can see creates the optimum striking zone for the ball, and allows him to get as high a shot as he possibly can off. Also identified some weaknesses. First one we'd look at is maybe his work rate. He sort of doesn't close down the ball as much as he possibly could, which doesn't really put any pressure on the defenders. That means that they're going to have a possession in an area that is quite easy for them to control the game with. They can pick out a pass to a midfielder who can maybe create a chance for the opposite team, and it just allows all over the pitch the players to have more time on the ball, rather than if he does put pressure on them, then they're panicked into the ball, they might give it away, they might create a shooting chance for the striker, or it's given away in the midfield area. So this could be down to his aerobic capacity, which could be a weakness. The aerobic capacity is the store, use and intake of oxygen during aerobic exercise, which obviously is football. Football is a predominantly aerobic exercise, so this aerobic capacity could be a weakness for him, because he obviously not constantly running, and he find himself walking quite a lot. But it can also question the group cohesion of the group, with him not showing the greatest work ethic. It can influence group dynamics and could cause a dynamic divide in the group. If another player sees him not working as hard and the rest of the players are working the hardest they can possibly, it might sort of question his role in the group and how committed he is to the team. We can look at Steiner's model in relation to this, which is says actual productivity equals potential productivity minus losses due to faulty processes, and this is due to the fact that he's not shown as much as he possibly could. So the losses that we're getting minuses the actual productivity of the group. Another weakness that I've looked at is passing. His varieties of passing sometimes went wrong. Long passes sometimes found a defender when he was trying to either switch the play, find a ball in behind, or create something for a teammate. Short passes weren't the best either. Fair enough, at the time he stamps the ball down, his technique's fine, he strikes through the ball, but we're looking at the power that he uses for a pass, and he doesn't seem to get the right power that is necessary to find a teammate. Sometimes it's too slow in finding the teammate, and that gives a defender a chance to get back in position, and midfielders to maybe get a toe in and stop the attack. And especially when the ball's coming to the feet of the striker, it's an opportunity for him to gain an advantage. When he gets the ball into his feet, it creates a lot of space behind the defence. So the faster he can play the ball into a midfielder, the more chance there is that the defence could be unlocked and the ball could be played in behind, creating a scoring opportunity. So these slow balls can really mean that the defenders can get back into position and stop these attacks from taking place. And again, from these positions, there's no movement in behind. You can look at if he's in that position, he can spin off the defender as quick as he can, or allow another striker to spin off. But in this situation, he doesn't seem to play the ball quick enough and allow that to happen. So I've chosen passing as the main weakness that I've devised an action plan for, and I've used periodisation, which allows the player to reach a goal especially through progression. Every session will take place with a warm up and a cool down before and after the game. Warm up consisting of a pulse raiser, maybe jogging, or some dynamic stretching. Obviously stretching to elasticate the muscles and reduce the chance of injury. And skill-based activity, light passing or dribbling drill, just to get the muscles and the memory stimuluses really flowing. So the week one, I'll be looking at a pass completion test to start, so we can judge where he's at and see where we need to improve, and maybe see where his strengths lie. That'll take place in different scenarios, different parts of the pitch, different pressures that he's under to play a pass. And then to start, we'll just do some simple passing drills, maybe one-touch passes that be like a game type situation. Week two, we can look at a long pass focus, which may have been a weakness in the game that I've looked at. Switching the play from one side to another, or finding a short, intricate little passing behind the striker. start to add pressure from in a game like scenarios with adding defenders, pressuring him around the ball, and really make it like a game. So he's put under pressure. Week 3 we can have a short pass focus, concentrating on different angles on the pitch, different types of scenarios and ball played into him, and weight requirements for him to judge different types of passes that he needs to play. Week 4 we can look at a ball played into in different angles, so we can also test his control and judge his control and getting the ball back to another opponent. So a ball may be played into his chest or his knee or his foot, and it's how quick he can play the ball back to a different opponent, to a different teammate, or to a teammate in a more effective position. Week 5 we can bring in some movement off the ball, developing movement off the ball as well as the passing. So we can look at spinning off defenders or running in behind again into space to get a scoring opportunity after a pass. And in week 6 we'll overview every part of the possession that we've done. It may be a tight possession game with different scenarios, maybe open it up into having to play long passes or short ones with 1-touch, 2-touch limits. And then at the end of week 6 we'll do a retest and check the progression that he's made and see if there's any further improvements that need to be made after that. Throughout the 6-week plan I'll be looking at using positive reinforcement. This will really allow him to reach his goals and give him the motivation to reach these, really help him through and understanding the position he's in. I'll also use a varied amount of training methods, looking at progressive part in order to progress the skills that he already has and moving into a more technical skill. Part, whole part, looking at a part of a skill and really nailing down, getting the technique right, and whole skills where maybe if he already has the technique, just really practicing and getting that technique right.